Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Normally I'd be telling you guys what store I'm about to pop into and show you all the deals and the final breakdowns, but today I wanted to do something a little bit different. I wanted to kind of talk about the aftermath of the transaction. I wanted to talk about how I keep track of how much money I make each year from couponing, social media related to couponing, reselling, rebates, the works, y'all. I want to talk about just how I keep track of it. So we know that I work full time. So I do not have the time, as much as I wish I did, to write down everything in an Excel sheet, do the amount I paid, the amount I saved, how much profit. Really wish I could do that. But I just don't have the time, and I think the way I do it takes very minimal time each week. And I was able to do it all last year, stuck with it to track that I made almost $6,000. I mean, I love my hobby. I make money from my hobby instead of spending money. So I love it. And I've been doing the same thing this year as far as tracking goes. So really wanted to share with you guys in case you didn't know where to start or didn't know how or just wanted an idea. Just wanted to give this video to you guys. And so now I will say that this is not the only way to do it. I have friends that roll gift cards, friends that roll PayPal. There's a lot of variations to the way you can track how much you make each year. But this is just the way I do it. So feel free to do as you please. So before I get started, I wanted to mention I do have a link in the description to the example that I'm going to be showing you guys. You can print it out and follow along with me in this video, or save it for a rainy day, or when you decide you want to start tracking your profit from couponing, feel free to use it then. But that is in the description so that you guys can use it. Also, before I get started, I wanted to ask, if you're not currently subscribed, please follow along with me on my YouTube journey, my coupon journey. I would love to have you guys, and as always, I appreciate your support. All right, so I am going to hop on over to my example, and so I won't be on the screen. You'll just be seeing the example that I made for you guys. All right, y'all, let's get right into it. This is an example I made for tracking the profit of couponing, reselling, clearance shopping, rebates, whatever you want it to be, honestly. It doesn't even have to be coupon related. But I want to start in the notes section because that is really the preparation for it all. The first thing you're going to want to do is set up a separate savings and checking account for couponing, reselling only. So you can either go to the bank and ask them to set up each one of those for you, or give them a call, whichever is easiest. And then when you're setting up that checking account, you want to make sure that it comes with a debit card, because that's how you're going, or what you're going to be using for all your spending. So if you have any out of pocket at a store, that is the card you're going to use to pay for it. You can use your everyday checking account if you don't want to go open another one, but please make sure that you can distinguish between your everyday purchases and your couponing expenses, or even income coming in from couponing. So you can use that, but just make sure you can tell the difference in those transactions. And then if you do create a new savings or checking account, see if your credit union or bank has a high yield savings or checking account. Because this money is accumulating over a year or however long you want to track it, and it is growing. So you want to make money with your money. So see if they have a high yield account, so that way you can continue earning more while your money is growing. Under the transactions section, I have created basically a mock-up transaction history that you would see on your bank account app. This is what would be your checking account that you open, some of the transactions that you might see within it. So these are all of your debit card or ACH transactions coming into and out of that checking account. As you can see, we have payments going out from like Walmart, CVS, HEB, Kroger, all that. And then we also see that we have a cash deposit and we have money coming in from PayPal. So this is what we're going to use. I just came up with some random numbers to use for this example, but this is kind of what it would look like under the transaction history, under that new bank account that you created for your checking account with that debit card attached. Okay, my method to calculating how much profit I make from couponing and reselling is simple. I take the deposits or income and subtract the expenses within any given period to find the profit. So let's say April is done. I balanced it out. I know exactly how much I made. It's complete. May starts, and then now is around May 8th when I am finally able to look at my account and see all of the transactions that I have completed within the first 8 days. What I do is I make two lists. I make a deposits list and an expenses list. In my deposits list, in this example, I have $20 from PayPal. I have $40 cash, which I made, let's say, reselling some diapers, and $50 from PayPal again for rebates. It's $110. Then in my next list, I have all of my expenses written down from all of my transactions that I've did using my debit card to pay for my couponing items. And that is $49.50. That was all within those first 8 days of the month. Between those 8 days of the month, I profited $60.50. Once you find the profit amount for the period that you are doing the calculations for, you want to transfer that from the checking account to the savings account. So in this case, our profit was $60.50, so you want to transfer that from checking to savings. Now, one thing to keep in mind, and you may be thinking this, what happens if I didn't make money between this period? What if I spent a little bit more than I should have, or I went and bought that clearance item and didn't quite get enough back? This is the thing. You can transfer from your savings to your checking account, but there is a federal regulation called Reg D. It allows you to only transfer out of your savings account 6 times per month online. You can go into your branch or bank or whatever and do that as many times as you want. But online, you can only transfer out of your savings account 6 times a month. So that is something to be mindful of. I really use a hybrid account. It's a checking and savings account, so I don't have regulations as I'm essentially going checking account to checking account. So that is something to keep in mind. And you may be asking, well, how many times a month should I do this? Look, y'all could do this once a month if you don't have that many transactions, or me, I do it about 2 or 3 times a week just to keep up with my transactions. And so that's really going to be up to your couponing reselling behavior. If you're not doing a lot of transactions, you may not need to do this as often. So that is completely up to you. And you can use the transfer transaction as kind of your guideline as to where you left off. And that's it, y'all. There's no Excel sheet needed. I am honestly writing my numbers down on any piece of scratch paper that I can find. And it really doesn't take a long time, maybe 5 minutes at the most. It really just depends on how many transactions that you have in that given period. But I think it's super simple. It's a great way to calculate how much profit you're making or potentially how much you are spending from reselling and couponing. I hope y'all found this example on how to track your couponing and reselling profit helpful. If you did and want to keep seeing more videos like this, make sure to give this one a thumbs up and feel free to leave in the comments any ideas, suggestions, or current practices that you use. I would love to read them. Also, if you have any questions, feel free to leave that in the comments as well. And one thing before we go, I don't want anyone to feel like I'm not making any money from couponing. What am I doing wrong? If you're not making any money from couponing, that's fine. I wasn't in the beginning either. It is completely fine to just be saving money. But I do encourage you to track what you're spending and what you're bringing back in, because you might realize, hey, I'm spending way too much money that I'm actually saving. I'm buying this and don't really need it, and it's costing me money. So I really do encourage you to track in some way the income and expenses that you have coming in from couponing. And like I mentioned, income can just be Ibotta. You know, when you bring in your rebates, does it match what you're spending on those rebates? And is it items that you or your family needs? So whichever way you do it, just maybe start tracking. You may be surprised how much money you're actually making. So with that being said, I am signing off for the rest of the week. I'm actually headed to visit a friend that I haven't seen in so long. So I'm going to just enjoy some quality time with her. So I will catch you guys next week. I hope everyone has such a great weekend. Bye, y'all.